After the Fable reveal, I wasn't just impressed, I was excited. This actually looks like a Fable game, and there are three things that sold me. So, welcome back to Unfiltered Game Talk, let's get into it. So first of all, the art direction really sold me here. I think all of this looks very Fable-like, it looks very fantasy-like, it looks very fairy tale-like, and essentially that's what it is. And it's important that they give you that vibe that this world is in fact, magical, it's fairy tale-like, and I think Playground Games have done a great job on giving you that whole impression and making you feel like you actually live into a fairy tale world. Albion looks amazing. Again, we have to talk about the graphics. The graphics look excellent, but we know that because Playground Games have been making Forza Horizon 5. So graphics-wise, I wasn't too worried. But I'm going to talk about the second thing, why I'm so excited for this. First of all, it's the depth of this game. The NPCs, the relationships that we get to be. This is where it's so important because this feels like a world that exists without you, and that's rare. That's the kind of depth that actually makes role-playing actually matter, because this is a role-playing game. I think everything looks good. In this, Bowerstone looks amazing. As you can see, a huge castle looks very fairy tale like, and this is where all of this comes in. The NPC, you can get to marry someone. You can, you can have kids. You can be an real estate agent or owner. Sorry, real estate. You can be a landowner, and all this depth is what feels amazing. NPCs have their daily routines. This feels like a lived-in world. Cities don't just feel empty. Cities and villages feels like they're bustling with people and their routines, and they have their lives. So, I mean, me personally, I can't wait to sort of, marry one of my tenants and then divorce them and then basically evict them. I think that's what I'm trying to do. I think that's a hero. I'm just kidding, but no, I can't wait to make relationships. I can't wait to be a homeowner. I think I want to know what I want to be. That's gonna be a rich twat, and I'm looking forward to being that. And that's why the NPC, the reactivity of them, what they think, what your actions. Obviously, your actions depend on what you do. And we also have to talk about the character creation. At first we saw that this wasn't originally in the game, we only had one protagonist, so I'm glad they brought the character creation back, because a lot of people were sort of criticizing for not being able to create your own character since it is an RPG game. So I'm glad that they brought that back, and there's a bit of a correct character creation, not in depth as like a Dragon Age Railguard if you're expecting that, so be careful. And the last thing that I want to talk about would be the open world, and the combat of this game is amazing. I think it looks very simple. It doesn't look like it's trying to do anything different, but I'm fine with that. Usually the combat isn't the biggest deal over here, because obviously it's not like a Souls-like or any action game. The combat looks relatively simple, relatively good. I would have liked to see a bit more magic. A lot of what we're seeing here, a lot of what we saw was, a sword fighting and just, smacking a guy with a hammer. So a little bit more of magic would have been good to see, like even like a little bit more. This is a bit of a tiny peak, I guess you could say. And I will say that the UI reminds you a bit of like the Harry Potter game, the Hogwarts Legacy. The UI just reminds me a bit of that, but again, we have to remember that both of these games are fantasy-like and magical-like, so I do think they took a bit of inspiration from Hogwarts Legacy, which is not exactly a bad thing, because the UI actually like the UI, and I just can't wait to explore this world. I really cannot wait to explore this world. I am quite excited for this, but there is one thing that I want to talk about, and this is where the skepticism lies. And some people don't like this, but for me, I'll tell you my opinion. There is no character, change in this game. Usually in the original Fable, if you did something evil, you would have horns grow out of the side of your head, and you'd have red eyes, implying that you are evil. And to some people, they wanted this. I personally didn't. And that's because I am if I'm creating a character, I wouldn't want to change. If I wanted to create a character that looked like the devil, I would create a character like that. Okay, and I wouldn't want my decisions to change that. So for me, I actually don't think it's that big of a deal for me, but I can see why to some people they would like it. But ultimately, I do think that a nice bit of balance would be to if they could sort of find a middle ground and give us the options to turn it on and off. You know, maybe give us an option whether you want to change your characters based on your actions or whether you don't. Obviously, that would take more time and more money being put into that feature. So I can understand why they didn't do it, but I would have liked to sort of see that, the option at least for some people. And ultimately, overall, this game looks good. I'm excited for this game. It's okay to be excited for a game. I am hyped for this. I will say that I am quite excited to play this. Probably going to be a day one purchase when it comes out. But you know, we saw the skepticism, but I feel like this is special. This game feels special. It really does. I believe in Playground Games. I think they're very passionate about this, as they said that it is a passion project. So hopefully we we can get an amazing game, and this really does have the potential. And if it lands, it will be good. So yeah, I am excited, not blindly, not desperately, but because this looks like a team that understands what Fable is. They're putting in the work, they are doing this with passion, and if this sticks to landing, this could be something special. And I personally cannot wait to play this game when it comes out. So, thank you for watching, and enjoy your day.